Hi, everybody. I'm Jimmy Chondo Lyon. You're drinking at Moe's, trying to get arrested.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's All right, everybody, go. Welcome to Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit, because that YouTube algorithm is a pain in the ass. We are most places you can find your audio podcast too. Today, I'm excited to have with me Jimmy Lyon. How you doing?
I'm okay. Just, it's a normal Tuesday for me. I've gotten marker tattoos from my very good friend who has declined to be shown her face, but
yeah,
but I'm doing what most manly deathmatch guys do. Yeah, fuck.
I've been lucky enough to get to talk with
got a butterfly.
Good number of people in the deathmatch community. Hell, I got stuff sent to me by John Wayne Murdoch there. That took me damn near a year to get that one done. one of my first ones, I actually have signed ring worn kick pads of his, but Alex Colon. So I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, Alex Colon trained me when I was coming up training. He taught me how to do specifically hip tosses and arm drags. So if you ever see me do one and I mess it up, it's just blame Alex. So
just blame him. Okay. He's actually going to be in Des Moines, Iowa, not too far away from me, beginning of December for Wrestling Revolver. So I might have to, if I see anything, I might have to go run there.
I thought they run mostly out of Ohio, or is it? Or
they kind of
just
they mainly flip flop between the two. They do Des Moines and Ohio a lot, and then they've kind of been sprinkling down into Texas every so often.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and
I just started
Ricky
traveling.
Shane. Yeah. Him and Ricky Shane Page just won the tag titles there.
Oh, they did? Oh, good for them.
Yep. So that'll be exciting. Now, before we get into everything else, first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what made you decide to make the leap into the business?
Oh God, I pretty much didn't have a choice to watch wrestling when I was a kid. I grew up in my, it's right around the whole Hulkamania era kind of thing, and my older brothers were already watching it, and pretty much you don't have any say over the TV, so I just watched it, and y'all just kind of went along. Like one of my earliest memories is watching Macho Man Randy Savage marry Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So and just watching it from there, like there was always kind of wrestling to watch in my house. We had all the action figures, all that stuff. It's like everything here.
Look at me right now with my little collection I got back here.
Yeah, I have a shelf, or I have a bureau that's actually becoming really overcrowded, along with a lot of other things in my house. But that has my memorabilia and stuff like that on there. So it's kind of off. in a little corner. And the thing that wanted to actually wrestle was it's going to sound stupid. No, it's not. No, working on my self confidence. uh, but as I'm saying, this is going to make me. It's going to sound really stupid. So towards the dying days of WCW, like I want to say 99, 2000, Terry Funk came to the ring wearing boxing gloves, but instead of them being boxing gloves, they were two frozen chickens on his hands. And I
Oh
saw that
God,
as
I
a child. I was just
remember
like,
that.
yeah, I saw that as like the salmonella alone. Like that's fucking nasty. But and then he punched Kevin Nash, I think it was, in the head. But as a child, I was like, I can do that. That doesn't look like it involves math or anything like that. I'm terrible at math, so
Oh God,
you
me
know,
too.
I can punch someone with raw chickens.
Yeah, but I don't remember where I was, but I do remember seeing that moment. Crazy enough, I do remember seeing that. And the thing with you and your older brothers, I think that was the way it was with me and my little brother growing up. I was the
You made
one
him
that
watch.
I was always the one wanting to watch wrestling. He kind of watched with me, and it was during the Monday Night Wars when he really started watching with me. And let's just say we wore out the last channel button on our remote.
Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah. I would just get two TVs and just tape them both. So
Oh,
wait, how
more
old are
off.
you?
I'm 40. I just turned 40 in July.
Okay, that's not that far. I'm 36. I turned 36 in July. So
Yeah,
yeah,
him and I, we would, sit there, and yeah, we'd if we were gonna be there and able to watch it, actually,
yeah,
we'd just
yeah.
sit there. We go to one channel, and then we put in the other channel, and then we just go last channel, last channel, last channel.
I remember watching so much bad TNT programming because of Nitro.
Oh
Like
God, yeah.
yeah, like oh, watch our new Robin Hood movie. That's actually freaking terrible, but we'll show the main event during it. The main event was like a no DQ or no contest or something dumb like that. It was a lot of regret after watching Nitro.
Or USA, I think it was USA had, or I want to say it was USA had the most extreme elimination challenge.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember that. But one thing I learned from all these years of watching wrestling, all these years, that no matter how much money Vince McMahon gets, no matter who's the champion, no matter how big WrestleMania is, nobody, and I mean nobody, has more power than the Westminster Dog Show because
Oh
it's
my God,
always
yes.
preempted. Yeah,
Oh man,
always.
we get that solid block of, I forget how long, where there was no Monday Night Raw, and you're just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks worth. But
I know. God, that always pissed me off. Like, I'm a dog person, but that pissed me off.
listen, I don't know why somebody somebody was paying enough money to somebody somewhere. So
I guess so. I don't know. But I kind of brought it up a little bit before we started recording. This month, October, I mean, yeah, the episode will air after, but H2O is
yeah,
coming up on a pretty big weekend here, like a week or two away, where they got two shows. One's the big Matt Tremont Deathmatch Tournament, where you are in there. They got the first round matchup already announced. And, excuse me, as I was stating before we started recording, as of this recording, there is only one person left from your first round match that I have not recorded with yet. And that's Mouse. So I need to get on that.
yeah, you do. I mean, like I said, Mouse is incredibly easy to get a hold of. Just hit him up. I'm pretty sure he's doing something unproductive somewhere.
And that happens. But when it comes to
Yeah,
the Matt Tremont Tournament, that it's starting to become, you know, one of the premier spots for, deathmatch tournaments. You got the ones GCW runs, you got Matt Tremont's tournament, you got, there's the CZW Death Tournament of Death. There, and it's right up there. What are you looking forward to this year with Matt Tremont's tournament?
Well, it's funny. You know, I think I've been in like with like GCW. I've been in like, and it's weird to think, but I've been in like every major, I guess you would say, deathmatch tournament in America. I was officially in King of the Death Matches, and then they went out of business. Um, so there's that. But this year, I can say at least that the most. It's not just the same old people, which is something I hate so much. Which I like the tried and true people, but like seeing the same 8 to 12 people announced for a tournament, it just becomes monotonous. Is that the word?
Yeah, I think yeah, that sounds about right. But no,
No,
I
and
can
one thing
agree
in
with.
general that I hate.
Oh yeah,
One thing in
no, I
general that
was.
I hate with deathmatch tournaments. I hate when everything is just glass, 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 light tubes on the floor, glass in the corner, this and this and this and this. I miss when like you would actually have like different stipulations that you'd have to work
Mm,
around as opposed to, oh, let's do this. It's a gusset plate match, but let's throw a whole bunch of light tubes in. Starting to hate that,
oh
because it just
yeah,
makes everything blend together. Plus, also
no,
glass is kind of like everything. So
I totally agree. On multiple levels there with the same people in every year. Yeah, you like to have the reliable regulars sprinkled in there, but you also want to throw in some new people, some for the lack of a better term, fresh blood in there every so often. And
yeah,
then I can also agree on the matches. The ones, because I've seen some here that, good lord, just the name alone is like, okay, this is drawing my attention because it just
yeah,
sounds different.
yeah. Like, what was that? I, when I did TOD, uh, in 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. Because I remember because I was supposed to be in it the next year, and COVID happened. Um,
Yeah.
but so in 2019, they announced it as like a happy summertime, summer fun time death match or something. I was like, okay, whatever this is gonna be, I'm getting some cool noodles with stuff. Everything will be easy. And it's like, no, it's just a pit and light tubes. Like, okay, it just, and that's not a knock on them, but like, I just it
Oh,
does nothing for my brain, when it's just like, and I don't know if you can tell this, like, I will do light tubes. I don't really mind them, but, I prefer to do other stuff just because there's such a high risk of, you know, yeah. So I prefer to, what's that? Girlfriend, man. Yeah, it makes my girlfriend mad.
yeah.
So, some, uh, but, no, like I said, I'll do them when they matter, but like, I don't know. It's everybody kind of doing you can only watch so many tournaments. It's just people swinging light tubes, and I'm
Oh,
just like, for the love of God, someone bring in a barbed wire trampoline. I miss those.
oh, oh, yeah.
Oh,
No, there's
great.
there's one there is one promotion that I don't think is going to be running anymore. But the last show I remember seeing of theirs, yeah, they had one of those barbed wire trampolines. And then, you bring up the name of the match that you brought up, the Happy Summertime at
Fun time death match. I think that was
one
it.
time. Yeah,
Wasn't
I
a
was
knock
like,
on that.
okay, a bit of a tongue twister here, but I remember just the images that came to mind when I thought of that. Yeah, you might have a kiddie pool filled with something, but then, good lord, having different stuff attached to pool noodles and, oh
Like in
god,
like that. Like, like miss that kind of stuff. You know who used to do really good with those with the unique stipulations? IWA East Coast, the Masters of Pain. Like every stipulation was something unique. I
Mm.
remember. I think this might have been the very first Masters of Pain they did. It was a no ropes, barbed wire, live lobster match.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was. It was Kobe Klein and Jun Kasai. Well, it was awful because anytime I've seen a live lobster used, uh, I'm not one for animal cruelty, so please nobody get that wrong. But
Oh,
uh, uh, the lobster's always dead by the time the match starts.
oh no.
They had lobsters for the finals of the 2002 King of the Deathmatch tournament, and they kept it in the pool the whole weekend. And by the time the tournament, the finals came around, they were dead. So Necro just picked it up and just threw it at somebody.
Oh
So,
no.
um,
But yeah, man, there is so many possibilities that you can come up with for unique stuff. I know I've only been lucky enough to get to attend a couple death matches live. One, my first ever one was actually, I talked a little bit about Wrestling Revolver, was actually at their show. It was Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman. And that match followed right after a multi-person monsters ball match. So there was already stuff all throughout the ring. They were trying to clean it up.
yeah, yeah.
Jake rolls in, is like, fuck it, leave it, let's go. And
Oh, that's awful for me. Like wrestling barefoot, that's always awful. I'm always like, is anyone going to sweep the ring in between rounds? No, no, we just kind of leave it. Like, okay,
yeah,
thanks.
I can only imagine. And yeah, that match was crazy because it ended by four folding chairs, two panes of glass, and then they lit the glass on fire.
Yeah, no, that's not me. I will never do fire. I've seen. I was there at TOD4 when Nick Gage got set on fire and ran around. He looked like a big match, and he had all those
Oh,
second-degree burns or third-degree burns on him, and you see his skin peeling. Yeah, that
yeah.
was the one thing I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm good. Um, yeah, I've been around one too many fire incidences. That's like
Yeah.
if there's anything, no, that was Tremont.
No, I remember the guy.
Oh well, that's happened a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, there was yeah, that's everyone always has the limit of what won't I do. Yeah, for me, it's fire. I will never do fire ever.
Okay. Yeah. No, that
I don't
it's
know how we
kind
got to
of
the subject. Oh yeah,
unfortunate.
so but you were talking about how
Oh, kind of pause there.
hello, you good?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
with you
still
here.
here. I'm still here.
You're good.
But you were saying,
But you were talking about like you only been to a few of them. My very first death match I ever went to was June 25th, 2000. It was less than a month before my 13th birthday. My friend Dario, his dad took us to CZW. They said it couldn't be done, and it started with a no rope exploding barbed wire match and
oh
ended
god,
with a 200 light tube death match. And we had no idea what to expect, and he had no idea. And I think by like the beginning of the last match, the 200 light tube match, he just went to the car. So yeah, you guys will be fine here, right? Yeah. So
that is nuts. I've also been front row for a no rope barbed wire, and then I've also attended a show that was a no ring death match show, and I was lucky I was wearing closed toed shoes because I ended up at one point the connector cap on the end of a light tube flew off and hit me in the foot.
ooh, yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't really take that into consideration. You know, it's always like, well, yeah, I mean, if they get cut off, they pretty much know the show, they know this and they know that. And it's weird because yeah, that's kind of how it is. But like, you always do your best to make sure that like fans are signing up to watch this stuff, not to be, not to get injured along with it.
Yeah.
So you always do your best. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hell, that show.
One thing I can't stand that's so reckless
Oh
with like weapons and everything, because there's a way to do stuff and a way not to, and just if someone's just like injuring everybody, it may be them. They may be the problem. It's like that Taylor Swift song, which I don't like Taylor Swift, but enough of my friends do. It's like I'm
no.
the problem. It's me.
Yeah. No. I was when you brought that up. That was actually the one I was thinking of, because yeah, my wife attended the Kansas City stop of that tour, so I've been hearing all about it. But yeah, you brought up a good thing there, that you know deathmatch wrestling, just like a lot of different forms of wrestling, it has its supporters and its detractors. The detractors, just they don't seem to think that, like I do, or like a lot of people that are fans do, that when it's done right, it's just really like any other form of professional wrestling. It's just surrounded by all the deathmatch elements, the light tubes, the barbed wire, the gusset plates, and all that.
No, well, the thing for me, anytime anyone's ever been like, "This is garbage. I don't like this. This is awful. Y'all shouldn't be doing this," I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right." I don't think man was meant to, land in barbed wire and stuff like that, or, set themselves on fire for sure. Oh yeah, yeah, it's endorphins and stuff like that. But that being said, like I never knock anybody for hating deathmatch wrestling. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Like everyone hates Cornette. I'm just like, And the funny thing about Jim Cornette, he's not wrong with a lot of things he says. You know, like
Yeah.
that man was making like $2,000 checks a week in like 1983, 1984, 1985, which is an astronomical amount. Like people could still be doing that today, but you know, he's also a person that I think is very stringent on his views. Like
Yeah.
that's the one thing I don't like. People that are like, well, it's either my view, my opinion, or nothing at all.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like the people that are always like, oh, deathmatch wrestling is crap. It's not like this. It's like, you know what, deathmatch wrestling I'll equate to like a punk rock show, like in
Mm.
the 70s or 80s. It's not like Led Zeppelin, and you know it's not Aerosmith or whatever those arena rockers are, but it's got its own validity to it and everything. I was gonna say it's like a Gigi Allen show, but I've yet to see anybody throw their own shit at the crowd during a death match.
Yeah.
Oh, Gigi, what a piece of garbage.
But yeah.
I like some music too, but he was a bad person.
Yeah. And I mean, you got a good point there. And I kind of actually, I was talking about this with a friend of mine this weekend, that professional wrestling is very subjective. It's like one person can absolutely love something, somebody else could think that same thing is hot garbage. Neither of them are wrong. That's their taste.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say it takes to be in deathmatch? Because
Oh, you
deathmatch is
got
just, it's a whole different animal.
yeah. To be you had to have something wrong with your childhood. That would be step one. Yeah.
You are not the first person to tell me that.
No. Like I'm joking. I mean, and that's not everybody, but you kind of have to have. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, you kind of got to have a screw loose or something like that, but yeah, it was either deathmatch wrestling or therapy, and now I do both. So, uh, and again, just some people like it. Like you'll see like a completely normal guy like Mick Foley,
Mm,
who, like by any and all counts, had a perfectly normal childhood. Was given everything he could have needed. Parents were completely normal. Grew up to be a really nice guy, yet would roll around thumbtacks and barbed wire and fire. So there's exceptions to the rule, but then but the majority them. It's like, oh yeah, well this is fucked up in my life. This is fucked up in my life. Deathmatch is kind of like a coping thing. I don't know. So I think that's one one aspect that isn't required but definitely helps. Something else that definitely helps is uh, I don't want to say it's like, oh, it's for your listeners, because anybody could like jump off of someplace really high.
Yeah.
It's oh, what's that word? What's that word I'm looking? Emotional deregulation or something.
Emotionally dysregulated.
Oh yeah, emotionally dysregulated. Yeah,
Oh,
which is the word
God,
I'm learning. Uh, most deathmatch wrestlers are like that. So
gotcha. Now, I have two
yeah,
categories that I like to
yeah.
fit into the show. One's a bit of a name game where I try to theme it towards the guests, and coincidentally, this time, all but one of these have actually already been on the show. And
Okay.
they're each somebody that, when looking up and, people that you've at least shared a ring with or at least a locker room, you've all been together at some point.
Yeah.
And I give the name, you give me some quick thoughts on the person.
I, this is random, but I was thinking the other day, I've wrestled every single person from the Mike Levy incident except for Mike Levy.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, please tell me you know about the Mike Levy incident.
I've heard of it. It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it was just a random thought that went in my head. But yeah. So go on. What's your question?
But yeah, I got some people. I give you the name, you give me some quick thoughts on the person.
Okay.
First one, he won a recent CZW Tournament of Death. A former guest of mine, Bobby Beverly, the Bev.
I love Bobby Beverly, but every time I wrestle him, he beats the ever loving shit out of me. And not like, oh, he swings his weapons at me. He's just like very, very stiff when he wrestles me. So like I told someone else like, oh yeah, Bobby's a little stiff. He deserves. And after they wrestled, I was like, man, how was everything? He's like, oh yeah, Bobby was like light as hell. So I guess he likes me in a certain way where he just kind of beats me up. I don't know, but he lets me hit him too, so it's not a big
Hey,
deal.
all right.
But yeah,
Next
I,
one.
I like the best.
Oh yeah, he was a good talk. I loved having him on. Next
Yeah.
one, I kind of mentioned him a little bit. He was one of my first people in the deathmatch world that I got to have on. One of my absolute favorites, the blood fighter Alex Colon.
Alex Colon is my favorite Italian. Um, I've known Alex since I started training in January 2011. Um, I don't know, like I guess the way I kind of look at Alex is different than the way some other people look at him. Just Alex, like he's just my friend, super super nice guy. You know, he loves wrestling, but like he loves his family and stuff like that more, But he just happens to be, like I say, he's just like a guy that like, oh yeah, I know that guy. What do he do? Oh, he just happens to be the best at this thing or one of the best at this thing. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just Al. I got to spend a couple days with him when I went to Denver last month, I think it was. Yeah, for a Primo Slave to the Deathmatch Tournament 14.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I've heard of
you
that.
know, yeah, I got to catch Alex for 2 days, and that was really nice. But before then, I hadn't seen him for a while, so yeah,
That's always good to get it catch up a little bit.
yeah.
The next person, one of my more recent guests, Jess Moss.
Uh, Jess is a nice person, uh, though I don't think she ever wants to wrestle me again. Uh, uh, if you give me certain weapons, I'm just gonna swing them. One of those weapons that I swing, and I kind of swing as hard as I can, is the water jug bat because I figured, eh,
Mm.
water jug bat. You're not gonna kill anybody. Um, it was her and Randy West 1-on-1, and that turned into her with Randy West versus me and Declan Grant. And there was weapons out there. There's a water jug bat, and apparently the entire match she was just hiding from me and dreading when me with the water jug bat, because I was like, and looking back at it, it's one of those things where I was like, oh my god, I was an asshole. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I was swinging the hell out of it on like everybody, and at the end of it, she's like, if you ever, I'm as sorry, people just walking in. Hey, John. It's like, I'm never wrestling you again as long as you had that water jug bat. So I was like, and looking back at it, I didn't realize it, but it's like, oh my god, I was such an asshole. Like I didn't mean to. It's just that I'm playing it,
It just happens.
Yeah.
Next person, I have not had this person on the show, but I sure as hell wouldn't turn it down. Schlack.
Schlack, actually, the funny thing about Schlack, again, meeting Schlack, you guys, shh, I'm trying to talk to people. Schlack is the scariest dude you'll ever see, but if you're on his good side, you're fine. Schlack, actually, I grew up in South Jersey, and I went to Gloucester Catholic High School. And Schlack is actually a fellow attendee of Gloucester Catholic High School. Schlack,
No
I don't
kidding.
know what they said, where like, yeah, Schlack went to Catholic school for I guess a year or two, and I guess he dropped out or something. But yeah, Schlack is the scariest guy, like the nicest guy that will ever scare the living crap out of you. And he's like one of the most interesting people in the world too. Like, he's very smart. He has a story for everything that goes like everywhere.
Yeah, he definitely looks like one of those guys that it's like, before you actually get to talk to him, when you're meeting him, you're like, he is like intimidating and scaring the crap out of you. But when you get to talking to him, I've heard plenty of stories that, yeah, he's like the complete opposite when you're talking to him and you're on his good side and stuff. Because
well, that's the other thing. Like, it's not like, oh, he's a puppy dog and stuff like that. It's like, no, I've seen Schlack legitimately upset. Like, like every horrible thing you think he can do to you physically, he can. And he can and will fuck somebody up real bad, but said just don't be a dick,
Yeah,
and he's fine. Same thing like wrestling him. I always say, because I've been in the ring with Schlack twice. Second time, thankfully, he was on my side. But the first time was a tag team match, and I always equate wrestling Schlack like, it's like you're getting on this roller coaster ride and it's got all these loops and everything like that. And it's a long line, so you're just anticipating it, you're waiting, and you're like, you know what, okay, fine, I got this. Okay, I'm going to pull down the lap bar, that's going to secure me in, and the ride starts, and you realize, oh wait, this thing didn't click, and you just have to hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
Like, that's what wrestling Schlack is like.
I can
but like Schlack always says, like, just play the game, you'll be fine. It's like,
yeah. And like I imagined, meeting him, I think of it a lot like the time I got to meet Dan Severn.
Yeah.
Before I started talking to him, when I was just in line to meet him, I'm like, oh my god, that guy is intimidating as hell. And then you get to talking to him, one of the nicest dudes ever.
Yeah, just like this very nice guy from Coldwater, Michigan.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the first times I've ran into a situation like that, but something I will pretty much always remember for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I have this next category, some kind of random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. I generally don't know until I'm putting my notes together. I give you the
Yeah.
question, you give me a quick answer.
Okay.
First one of them that I like to keep in here as much as possible. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Oh, the craziest in-match moment. God, there's so many. I don't know. There's so many to think of. I mean, I've done a lot of really kind of silly, stupid stuff in wrestling. Um, there was a time in 2017 where I wrestled Man Pondo, and he hit me with my own van. Just drove. It's not funny. Just drove away with me on top of it, rolled off,
Oh no.
and then I got up and he hit me with my car. I was like, "That's doing this." No, it's my fault for leaving the keys in there. Kind of thing.
True. Yeah.
Another one, like the nicest guy.
Oh yeah. I've got to
You know,
talk to him for the show too.
yeah. Uh, I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure I've had a lot of crazy in ring moments. I just, I can't think of them right now at the time because you're kind of just in the moment right then and there.
Oh, I can totally understand. I
So,
I know. I just love hearing the stories behind some of them because like I've heard from like Lloyd Anoa'i. I talked to him and he was in the original ECW and he told me a story of one time him and New Jack were in a match and they ended up going through a wall, both of them, and
oh,
Paul Heyman ended up
oh,
yelling at him after the match.
yeah, no, I'm usually pretty good at not breaking stuff. I mean, I have had like training matches. I did have a match one time. This wasn't a death match or anything. It was a normal match where I'm circling around, go to lock up on the lockup somehow. The guy I'm wrestling sprains his ankle really badly and can't walk, so we just have to figure everything out
Oh boy,
past then.
that's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
but yeah, I mean, there's been times where I've lit sparklers that almost set the ring on fire, but that that
Okay,
just happens sometimes.
I would imagine sparklers would probably do something like that. Now, next one, we kind of talked about one thing that you would avoid in a match, but what is another weapon you would avoid in a match if you had the choice?
Uh, a gun. Someone
Okay,
pulls out a
yeah.
gun.
Yeah, no, that's like,
You
fuck it.
know,
Okay, I'm out.
um, no, if somebody, um, probably pigeon spikes. Because I know some people have done that, but yeah, I'm not fucking around with that.
Yeah,
It used to be a weed whacker, but now I'm just like, yeah, fine. I'll see what we can do with it.
yeah.
Which sounds terrible, but
kind of little
again, I'm in
bit.
therapy for a reason.
I know Alex Cologne, without missing a beat, said toothpicks.
Yeah, no, I'll do toothpicks. I've done it before.
Yeah, he was like, nope. And then somebody else told me a story with him where they were looking through weapons to possibly use during a match, and something had a whole bunch of toothpicks sticking out of it, and they were like near the woods somewhere. He just picked it up and chucked it in the woods, and like, fuck no.
Yeah, a lot of people won't do toothpicks, and it's for good reason. Tremont, I remember, I think this was 2015 King of the Death matches. He got hit in the head with the toothpick or hit across the back. Either way, he had a toothpick and one lodged in his head. He couldn't get it out. He didn't really know it was there. So it was in there for like a good couple of weeks. And he finally pulled it out and it was like black and everything like that. And
Ugh. Yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah.
there's a way to do toothpicks without murdering yourself on them.
No,
Once I
yeah.
figure it out, I'll let you all know.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, definitely let me know on that one. Now, with the name of a show like Drinking at Moe's, I would feel weird if I didn't have something like this on here. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic, non, or one of each, because hell, I've had plenty of people on that for one reason or another they don't drink.
Well, I'm trying to rein back my drinking, these days. after several incidences, you can't really punch a school bus and
Yeah.
expect to keep drinking. Um, uh, the stop sign was asking for it.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of alcoholic drinks, blackberry brandy and 7-Up, absolute favorite. My friend Jim uh, got that for me in like 2008, I think, when we went bowling one time. Really, really good. Tastes just like soda. Um, Favorite non-alcoholic drink, which is my favorite drink in general, and everyone's going to laugh at me, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. If I'm at a fancy restaurant, I'll ask if they have it. Chocolate milk. I will always love chocolate
Ooh,
milk.
chocolate milk. That's
You're judging.
not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. I love a good chocolate milk as good as anybody. I know for me, my wife tells me I have a bit of a Dr. Pepper problem. I say as long as I have some, I don't got a problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm more of a beer guy, but I do enjoy a good Jack and Coke with grenadine. Like you put it in there and
Mhm.
basically tastes like a Jack and cherry Coke.
Yeah, coconut rum and Coke is okay, but it's so much sugar. Something that
Yeah.
Low Life Louie got us. This was many number of years ago, but Low Life Louie brought into the locker room and he ended up giving me a bottle of it. It's something called Spiritu, which you know how Everett's like a little bit higher.
Okay.
It's you need like a shot and you will get fucked up for a good couple of hours.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it tastes like pure rubbing alcohol, and it feels like someone lit a little match in your mouth. Just it's rough to get down, but you know,
Yeah. I've
it's
had
yeah.
I've had a drink or two like that. I know well, one that comes to mind is Malort. I One of my wife's cousins is a bartender at a couple spots, and she heard that I'd never had it, so she's like, "Okay, you're having it today." And then I'm like, "Good God, it tasted like I literally just downed a bottle of rubbing alcohol. It took me about 45 minutes to wash the taste out of my mouth."
Yeah, it's rough. Well, that's the point, like vodka doesn't taste nice. Bourbon doesn't really taste nice. A lot of it's Jack Daniel. It all tastes like paint thinner to some varying degree. You drink until it tastes nice, in which case you should probably also stop drinking that enough.
Yeah, at that point, I would
Like
say
I
so. It's
drink till I'm
probably
pretty.
about time to put it down. Now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I've had some, like, I got a couple bottles of tequila that, like, you put that stuff in a margarita, you're gonna need to be careful because after like two of them, you're gonna be on the floor.
I remember the first time I ever had a hangover. I was at my friend Tim's Halloween party, which is way out somewhere in PA. I don't remember where. It was 2010. I was in this full on uh, Donald Duck costume. I'm not really a fan of Donald Duck or Disney or anything like that, but I had it laying around, so I was going to wear it. Um, and I was drinking vodka and more shots and more shots. And it got to a point, and keep in mind, this whole time I'm fucking wearing this fluffy tail and everything like that, all this other shit. Um, Around like these people that are like dressed as like horror movie characters. So, and I got to a point where I was like, hey, this stuff doesn't taste bad anymore because my tongue was numb. And I just started like downing it like you wouldn't believe. And there's video someone has somewhere of me dancing and flapping my arm. If you look on the internet, that is somewhere. So I know
somewhere
somebody.
somewhere in the
Yeah.
annals of the internet.
Oh, yeah. Listen, if you ain't afraid, if you're going to be ashamed of it, don't do it and put it on the internet. Yeah.
True, true. Next question I
But the next day I
have.
woke up feeling the Donald
Oh,
Duck costume, just threw up everywhere.
oh God, I can only imagine. Next question
Yeah.
I have. Hardest hitter that you've been in the ring with?
Ooh. Hmm. Let's see. I could say Mickey Knuckles, but Mickey's weird. like not a weird person. I
Yeah.
love, but she's like, you remember that bear attack scene from The Revenant?
Yeah.
Leonardo, yeah, it's like that wrestling Mickey. Um, but at the end of it, you're like, oh wait, I'm fine. I'm just bleeding and everything like that. Like Mickey's like getting attacked by a bear, but like you're fine. Um, I see. I kind of got to do this like on an individual basis because when people wrestle me, like sometimes I'm just having a bad night. I'm just like, listen, I can't take this, can't do this, can't do that. Just let's just go real easy. I mean, that rarely happens, but sometimes I'm just, yeah, I can't take a beating. Um, but other times it's like, okay, well, let's kind of go in, let's beat the crap out of each other, let's do this. So, like I said, Bobby Beverly is fun to work, but he kind of beats the crap out of me. But he lets me do it to him too. Schlack will beat the crap out of you, but you'll be fine if you just go with it. Mickey, Chuck Payne actually is somebody that always we always had a gentleman's agreement, like don't give me a concussion, don't knock out my teeth, we'll be good. So you know, and we always had some really good matches. Um, I don't know if it's the hardest hitting, but at least in recent memory, one of the hardest hitting people that I've wrestled was this was last October, was Casanova Valentine. We Yeah, this was either October or November, but we had only one-on-one match because he stopped showing up to all of them after that, but that's for a different day. And we just were legitimately punching each other in the face and headbutting each other and just all kinds of fun stuff. Um, God, I've been wrestling way too long.
Now, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Wrestling or death matches, because it's two separate things of advice.
Yeah, either or both, whichever one you want to go with.
Uh, get therapy first. Make sure you have uh, make sure you have a job. You know, make sure you have a job and you have your stuff together. Because even those that give everything to wrestling and you know put in the time and effort, sometimes it just doesn't happen for you. Um, Also, always remember that you're supposed to be having fun. If you're not having fun and you're not making the money in like WWE or somewhere like that where you can reason still doing it, then just take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. Oh, and also if you want to get into wrestling, make sure you go to a good reputable school. Like that's I see so many people in over almost 13 years of being in the business that get taken advantage of and we'll train with this guy and it's just a bunch of mats laying around the floor and they
Yeah.
learn nothing but pay the guy and
Oh, yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's, it's like anything else. You make sure it's reputable, make sure it's legitimate, make sure there's a good track record.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like when I was growing up and like I didn't really know where a good wrestling school even was. Now it's like no matter what part of the country you're in, if you really look, there is one within a few hours of most people,
Oh
just from
yeah,
just about what any part of the country you're in.
yeah. If you want to get involved in death matches, don't. Um, no, just know that whatever you have with your family's like, oh, I don't like you wrestling because I'm worried you're going to get hurt. It's more than likely going to be a lot worse, in throwing weapons and stuff like that. Um, just be prepared. You might mentally put your family through a lot and be prepared to understand their point of view. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's with anything. Like, try not to do anything too selfishly. And I've been guilty of doing that a lot, and I'm trying to work on getting better at that. But just you know, also realize that you're gonna have to get up the next day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I threw myself off this building today. I did this. I did this. I did this. 10 years from now, you can barely walk. Like there's a way to be smart about everything.
Yeah.
It's like they said, there's a risk reward ratio. Think, well, will the reward for this outweigh the risk, and I got to learn to start doing that myself. But
Yeah. No, I can definitely understand. Now, that is about all I have. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
oh, social media wise, I'm always terrible at this. Um, my Facebook, I think, is Chondo, or yeah, Chondo Concha Hawkin, which was my first ever wrestling gimmick. Yeah, my first wrestling gimmick was Johnny Concha Hawkin because they said, "I just come up with the name." Okay, and I thought it would be funny. I was almost Bill Millville.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, and then my Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. And my Twitter and Instagram is Chondo Art, and my TikTok page, which is just something stupid I put like video game clips and stuff on, is Chondo TV One, because apparently someone took the first Chondo TV. So,
Bastards. Well,
and you can see me
anyway,
DJing every Wednesday night at the luxurious Sanctuary Gentlemen's Club. Which,
nah.
yeah, you can. Yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah,
like I said, that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. And best of luck out there with that Matt Tremont tournament.
yeah. No, I'm probably gonna fuck mouse up. So happens.
Yeah, it does.